All right, it's a July wrap-up time. I read 10 books. That's a little wild to me, and some of these were long, so. And I think most of them I read with my eyeballs. I think I only did audiobook for 3 of them. That feels right. Feels like I only did it for 3. Maybe 4, which is not a good thing. It's just a thing. It's just a different trend than normal. And I don't have really categories, although there is so much fantasy. Like, I am someone who reads fantasy, but there's so much, like, fantasy, like classic, epic, we're in castles fantasy. I think I read 3 of them, which is not my bread and butter. All to mixed success. Most of them actually worked out really well. So let us get into it. We're going to start from my least favorite, go to my favorite, mainly because the 2 that are my least favorite are the ones I don't have physical copies in front of me to remind me because I didn't make a list because today got away from me. So, least favorite. This is not news. Dragonbone Chair. I feel like I've talked about this so much. So I'm really not going to belabor the point here. If you really want to know my opinions, I have so many videos talking about my opinions on this. Also a live show where I talk about this with other people. If you want to know what it's about, we can start there. It is a 1980s fantasy, late 80s. It is kind of your classic teenage boy coming into their own in the midst of all this stuff that's happening. There's an evil from the north. There's a corrupt prince. There are magical swords. There are species of people that are like elves and dwarfs and things like that. It is not very magical, so if you want magic, there's not a lot of magic. The world building in terms of its politics is very just like name droppy, which is not my favorite, so I didn't like that. And this first book is primarily from Simon's perspective, which somehow there is a character more irritating than Baby Fitz, okay? Which is astounding to me, and I'm sure he will grow. So yeah, I vastly did not enjoy reading this. I loved talking about it. I loved ranting about it. I love seeing how many things are inspired by this. So in terms of like education, I enjoy this, but I also hate it. Okay. And I recognize that it's not for me, but also I just think it's poorly done at many points. So, you know, the audiobook's nice. I like the audiobook. The proper nouns, so many proper nouns. The second book is infinitely better, but granted, we have from here to go, so like, what's the bar? The next one is more of a, wow, I read that. That was so fine and forgettable, and that's The Ministry of Time, which has been on multiple awards lists. It is so like a book. There are words on a page and it's about something and it's not bad, but it's not memorable to me. This is about our contemporary time. Because yes, it's even post-COVID. Like COVID is mentioned in this book. And there is, I believe in the United Kingdom, a Ministry of Time. And they have chosen, for reasons unknown, to bring back random people that would have died in history to our now and see what happens. And our main character is kind of one of the bridges for one of these individuals, which means they are basically the person that connects them to the present time, gives them the correct lingo and cultural context, keeps an eye on them, etc. So our main character, the main person writing this story, is the bridge. We do have flashbacks to our character who was part of one of the Arctic adventures things. I don't know much about Arctic exploration, but I hear that if you like Arctic exploration, this book is measurably more enjoyable to you. I do think the book tries to clue you in. I just did not care. So that's on me. I really wasn't meeting it where it was at. I wasn't trying to be engaged. I'm that student in the classroom who was just dozing off into space during that part. Didn't like it. I think it's fun. I think it's okay. That's it. If you want to try it out, the audiobook was pleasant enough. I don't think it's exceptional. There's nothing about it that makes me go, ooh, it's not like the sci-fi thing, whatever. The quote-unquote reframing or twist, I don't think, like, I think when you're using a common tool like time travel, you have to do something exceptional to make that be the part that stands out, and it's okay if that's not what you want, but I just don't think that did anything. The main character's interpersonal drama was fine. I mean, probably my favorite part was when we had, like, a community we were forming, but that wasn't the main point of the book, I felt. And so we got into that, and I liked it, and then we left it. And I don't enjoy that, because I'm a very community-driven person. I like character interactions, so it was fine. It was okay. So next up, I can look at my stack of books. Oh man, I've had a pretty good reading month for the most part. Because I have so many like 4.5 stars. No 5 stars, but like 7 million 4.5 stars. But my 4-star is Happy Place by Emily Henry. And I did learn in real time while filming a Friday Reads that the reason why this is only a 4-star is because it chooses present day and flashbacks to tell its second chance romance story. Which I do think is a common way that people choose to write second chance romance. I'm unsure. I've only read 2. 7 Days in June and this one. And I do believe that I don't like the flashbacks as much. I don't really need that context. I can imagine so many ways in which you guys fell in love and fell apart. That's the sad part for me. I want to see the tension now and see you guys now as the people you are bringing your baggage into this moment find each other again and grow from there. I want it to be like you're meeting for the first time, I think. I don't know. I really liked the present day part of Happy Place. The friend group dynamic, I think, is reasonably toxic and dysfunctional, like all old friend groups are. Speaking as someone who's had to plan a lake house trip for this summer, I like literally told one of my friends, do not read this. The third act breakup has to do with the friend group and you're going to feel called out and upset. Don't do it. So yeah. I'm not the main character in this book, though. I think I was more like, what's her name, Chloe? I think I was more like Chloe. Regardless, I liked it. I will probably try another Emily Henry, because I did like it. I think I wish it had a bit more tension in, like, the sort of romance space. But I do know that, like, an Emily Henry book is, like, a romance, but also, like, a contemporary book, and you never know how much of each you're gonna get. All right, so then next up, I have to stare at all my 4.5 stars and decide. Okay, I think this is the next one. This is A Drop of Corruption, which if I used quarter stars is probably a 4.25 star, but I do not, so here's the 4.5. Sequel to The Tainted Cup. I just really enjoyed that this mystery was more interesting to me. It's like a serial killer mystery. I love that. I love the tension of that. I don't know why. Most of the time, mysteries don't work for me, but when it's like this kind of high stakes, I have fun. I think it was really cool where we were in the world. Thematically, I'm not sure if I took a lot away from it. This is just kind of a weird world I like to explore. I like the weird science-y stuff. I liked all the people we got to meet and solving the mystery. And this time, I think Dim was more interesting. I think he's kind of very boring in the first book, and he's our main view into this world. And I think he's more interesting in this book. And I do like the little meta arc reveal we had at the end. So it was pleasurable. It was a good time. Probably, like, in the moment, it was a 4.5 experience, but it's probably sticking with me like a 4-star. Similarly, The Tainted Cup was probably a 4-star experience in the moment, but it stuck with me like a 3.5. So, you know, I don't retroactively change my ratings, though. I just cannot be bothered. I do think I rate, as an aside, to try to track in the moment how I felt reading it, and less tracking for longevity. I know some people rate to try and capture both. I'm very bad at the latter, even though it would be more interesting, but I just couldn't be bothered. Next up, as I look at this stack. Ooh, this is hard. So I'm just gonna split it into my bird books and my science fiction books. Let's start with my bird books. We have The Raven Scholar. Like that girl this year. I actually saw her at an airport. Wild. This is definitely Orbit's big book that they're pushing this year. And I mean, it's fun. I think it's a good time. It's well paced. If you like competition stories, you must try it out. You must. Oh, I forgot I have other books too. After bird books, we're going to take a tangent to some bridge books. Before I forget. Because again, I didn't make a list. So, but Raven Scholar. Competition. Like, if you love a competition, this is like, that's its main trope, in my opinion. There is a murder mystery element, there is political intrigue, there are gods talking to people and magic, but primarily, it's a competition book. And I thought it was very fun. I think I liked it more before it was a competition book, but I am really excited to keep going because it can't be a competition book the next book, and I am fascinated about where we're going to go. We have some interesting pseudo-animal companion situations. Also, if you hear a car, it's because you do. It's not even my normal neighbor car. That's a different type of loud noise. I'm very aware of the one neighbor. He went to work at 4:30 this morning, so such is life. But I've had a really good time with this. I really enjoyed the writing style, the pacing, the flow. It was just a pleasurable experience. And then my other weird bird book is The Curse of Chalion. And this also is a gods book. These are both gods and birds books. This is literally in the world of 5 gods, and I think the other book has 7 gods? Unsure. An amount of gods. There's a bunch of animals. I think it's 7. This one has 5. They are not animals. This is more the mother, the son, the daughter, the father, and the bastard. Those are the gods. Right. The standard 5, of course. So this is a Bejeweled, and I wasn't necessarily expecting to finish this at the end of June, but I did. It was just my physical read when we were driving back from Boston, and I had a really good time. Not quite 5 stars, just because like I think some of the interpersonal relationship things I just couldn't quite have buy-in to in a way that I think the story wanted me to. And I think part of that is it's a medieval fantasy. Like, there's just no getting around it. But if there's a medieval fantasy that I could like, it's this one. And this is very low magic. Like, it has some magic, it has some supernatural adjacent stuff, but it's primarily political intrigue for like the first 50% of the book. And I was pretty into it. And there were so many moments where like, oh no, they're in denial. They don't know what's going to happen. Oh no. Oh no. And then it happened. And then it's like, okay, so how are we gonna get out of this, guys? What are we doing? And I do think the shining star of this book is Kaz. And what is this is fascinating to me, because I had to look. Kaz was, the 2001 is when this book came out. 2001 is, I believe, when Fool's Errand came out. The DNA between Older Fitz and Kaz is striking. They are both these 30-year-olds who talk and think like 60-year-olds because they have been put through it. And you learn very quickly why Kaz is the way he is. Poor Kaz. I think his name is actually Kazariel or something. Kazariel? Yeah, but I call him Kaz. And he is a fascinating, intelligent, passive character. And he's so sarcastic. He's so different, but also built on different Bejeweled type characters I've read before. He is patient and observant, a lot like a Cordelia. He's a little more passive than a Miles, but you get the sass of an Ivan. It's interesting. And then the Miles type character is a little bit in the children that he's around. It's a very cool character development sprawl. And like, you know he has this history, so you're also just like waiting, okay, right now, you believe this. What's going to be your turning point, and how does that turn out? And that's basically the second half of the book. Oh, it is very good. I very much enjoyed it. And I do like that it had more magic in it. It's not a lot of magic, but there was definitely a fascinating gods-humans interplay, a la like the Iliad or the Odyssey sort of thing, where the gods purposefully in this world can't directly interact. So what they have to do to interact and how Kaz responds to that is, I think, really good. So yeah, shocking. Bejeweled was a success. I had a great time, excited to read the other novels and then the novellas. Oh, very excited in this world. And so we're just going to finish off with the fantasy. And I read the first 2 books in the Bridge Kingdom series, so we'll just like throw them in here. What I can say for this series, because I didn't give them both 4.5 stars. I think I gave Bridge Kingdom 4.5, and I gave The Traitor Queen a 4. But like, still good. Still a good time. Is I read The Bridge Kingdom, and I was having a great time because it's like peak CW energy, guys. Like the drama, the tension. I actually really like that we got dual POV. And I think they were both relatively grounded in their decision-making trees. Like, it was so clear why our main female lead made the mistakes she made. I mean, honestly, the male lead could do no wrong. I loved him. He was fantastic. 10 out of 10. I could have just taken it all from his perspective. Give me the romantasy that is all the guy. Let's go. I don't think we've done that yet. And Midnight Sun does not count. Not that I've read it. I don't think I have, actually. I thought about it, but then it was so long. Like, do I really want to? I don't think so. And so what I can say is I read the first book, and I instantly, like in the middle of reading it, was out with a friend, bought the second book because I knew it'd be like 7 million years till the library hold came in. Because the minute I finished the first book, I needed to read the second book. That's how it works. The first book requires the second book. And then you can stop. Like, then it's another couple or something like that. And I think what I was surprised at is I did really like the romantasy part of it. But more so, I really liked the action. Like, the action scenes in this book are done incredibly well. They're really well paced. They're really gripping. I could really feel the tension in the moments. And I was always like, how are we getting out of this? Or how are we going to do that cool thing? It was like watching an action movie for me, but in a book, and that's so rare. So we have some competent characters, which I do like, even though they do some dumb stuff, which is what makes for the CW drama of it all. And you're like, no, but it's a romantasy, so you know it's going to be okay. But like, even though you know it's going to be okay, it's like, but we could have avoided this sort of thing. So I had a lot of fun with that. I just wish it had a tiny bit more of the tension I like, but it's also like it did. I think there were just some scenes I would have done differently in The Traitor Queen. That's all. Otherwise, I had a blast. I'm excited to see what else this author has, because I do think she reminds me of what I used to go to Sarah J. Maas for. But it's not too long. Like, I read both of these books. They were 800 pages. That's now like one Sarah J. Maas book. It's like, all right. It felt tightly paced. And this is her early work. I don't know if it's going to go off the rails later on. But it's exciting to read a thing and be like, cool. I like a thing a lot of other people like. How novel. So yeah, just a lot of fantasy all over the place between the classic and the romantasy. And I got a 2001 with Bejeweled, and then we got the new one with the Raven Scholar. I do think the Curse of Chalion was my favorite of all those, followed by the Raven Scholar, I think. And now for the sci-fi, we'll talk about the Jinbot of Shantyport, which I adored. This one, alas, there is no audiobook, okay? And I understand. We live in an era where attention is short to find, and audiobooks are helpful. But I promise you, this is a very fun book. Like The Bridge Kingdom, I was very impressed by the action scenes and the pacing and how vibrant and colorful this world is. The premise of this one is it's a retelling, gender-bent version of Aladdin on this... It's not a space station. It's a planet that is not our planet, that has a lot of tech and robots. Abu is a robot monkey, can become more than a monkey. And it is about rebellion and what you do with wishes and what wishes are realistic. And it also just has that romantic tension that comes with an Aladdin. And what I really liked is the narrator is this robot. That gets first found. It's not the Abu robot. And so a lot of the times it's still told to you in third person because they are observing these other individuals because they consider themselves a story bot. But sometimes you get first person from that robot's perspective while they find themselves being inserted into the story. And I just thought it was so fun, and it worked seamlessly for me. And yes, it's an Aladdin retelling, but many times I forgot, and then I was like, oh wait, that was the Cave of Wonder scenes, or of course you're Jafar, and it's like, oh, that's Iago. It was just so fun. I just had a really good time. So I think this really went under the radar, and I highly, highly, highly recommend that you try it out. Give it, 20 to 30 pages and see if you can get on with it. Because I think it's a really fun time. This author is fairly famous in India. It's just that I think he kind of got set back by one of his more literary sci-fi works coming through first, because this is very genre. This is very action-packed, fun, discussions about rebellion, science fiction, And then the other one I read is The Lesson by Cadwell Turnbull. And, one of my new favorite authors that I'm discovering this year. Quite delightful. I consumed this all in a day while doing yard work and going to work. It was a couple Tuesdays ago. Don't remember which Tuesday. Probably the Tuesday before Donna made me sleep deprived, if I was a guessing woman. And so this is about an alien invasion in the St. Virgin Isles. Is that the right name? Let's look. U.S. Virgin Isles. So we are there. We start off with a group of individuals. They are all interconnected on this island. One's the daughter of this guy. One's the mother. Basically this family, we look at them. At these individuals. They're all at a turning point in their life. Just normal family drama sort of stuff. One's becoming a teenager and starting to feel infatuation feelings for their best friend. This marriage is probably going to crumble for a few reasons. And then the aliens come. And then the book decides not to show you the alien invasion. It decides to answer the question, what happens after the invasion? So then you fast forward 5 years. These humans still have their human stuff to deal with, because no matter what catastrophe happens, humanity continues to be human and have human issues. And I think this comes through stronger here from an author who's from an island who has been invaded and colonized several times, because they know life just continues to move on. It's why reading like post-apocalyptic books by indigenous people is always interesting, because to them the apocalypse has already occurred. So what is after the apocalypse is now. So it's a similar thing with alien science fiction like this with the invasion story. And the aliens are interesting. They have their own agenda. There's some cool parts of them to learn about. You do get a perspective from one of the aliens. And it's about what this occupation and coexistence feels like, who is okay with it, who isn't, mixed in with the interpersonal drama. And it's very vignette-y. It's very about people. It's really up my alley. Like, it's truly like the marrying of my specific taste. So I had a blast, really. And so yeah, it was a good month. I don't think I have new favorites, if only because maybe I'm being extra picky this month. I don't know why. I guess probably the closest is The Lesson. The Lesson is the closest to a 5-star. And maybe as time goes by, I'll raise it up there. But I think 4.5, truly, you can think of it as like a 5-star for me. Like, it's more just 4.5 is like this year it's a favorite versus 5 stars like all-time new favorite. I think that's what my brain's decided to do right now, inconsistently. But it is what it is. Well, how was your reading month? Do you have any highlights? Are there any of the books that I mentioned that you want to read or have opinions on? And if you just want to leave an emoji to let me know you're here, let's leave either a raven or a crow. Now, when I talked about my bird books, it's important to note the Raven Scholar had a raven and the Curse of Chalion had crows. Different birds. So, but I don't think the emojis are that distinct. I think it'll be about the same. And like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.